Good morning. Welcome to Community Unitarian Universalist Church of Plano. I'm Sara Reiling, one of the worship associates, and part of the team that works to bring the worship services to you. We're glad that you're with us today. Whether you're a member or a new visitor, we welcome you. Whether you're here in the sanctuary with us or watching online, hi folks online, may you find connection with us and nourishment for your mind and spirit. Here at Community UU, we welcome all of who you are and all you dream of becoming. There is a book located in the back between the two cabinets. If you'd like to share something that is in your heart today, please write it in the book. Later in the service, we'll read it from the book. In this way, your joys and your concerns and sorrows will be part of this service and part of the concerns and awareness of this community. Once again, welcome. Today is our Earth Day Sunday, and the service is designed around celebrating the Earth. This coming Saturday, we will have an Earth Day Fest here on the grounds. Yay! More about that later. With lots of fun things to do. We hope you will come and bring all your friends. As I said just a little bit earlier, everything about this service is dedicated to the earth. So we have readings. All the music is earth-centered. And the readings are too, and then I have a short reflection on where we stand now with the earth. One special thing I did today, just for fun, and I hope you'll enjoy it too, is the prelude and the closing hymn have basically the same tune. So, does anyone speak Welsh? So, in English, they call it, we say hyfrydol, but I looked it up on some Welsh pronunciations, and it's something more like hysrydol. So, that's it. No, I had to practice it quite a bit to say it, so, and that's probably not quite right. But anyway, so I guess I won't take up Welsh as a second language because the pronunciation is really hard for me. Once again, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the service. Our call to worship today is by Gary Kowalsky. We gather here to worship, to seek the truth, to grow in love, to join in service, to celebrate life's beauty and find healing for its pain, to honor our kinship with each other and with the earth, to create a more compassionate world, beginning with ourselves, to wonder at the mystery that gave us birth, to find courage for the journey's end, and to listen for the wisdom that guides us in the quietness of this moment. Come, let us worship together. So today, our chalice lighter is Arne Hagerhorst, but we're all going to read the chalice lighting, and we're going to read it in unison. It's going to be fun. Come on. As soon as he's finished lighting, we'll start. By the way, it's called I Breathe. I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak truth, even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing I'm here to build and heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light the chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred ribbon of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. Good job. This church, like all Unitarian Universalist churches, is not bound by a common creed. Instead, we are bound together by our covenant, the promises we have made to each other and the wider community. Every time we're together, we recommit ourselves to these sacred promises by reciting our covenant. Please join me as once again we say these words together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant. Dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another. Our first reading today is by Dawn Wolfs. Dawn. I'm doing everything fancy today. I'm even changing people's names. Let me know after the service if you need a new name.
Oh, everyone's trying to change my name.
Maybe it is.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you guys some stuff, and there's many of us here that lived through this because we're old enough. And this is what's called the good old days. The only thing good about it really was, for us, is that we were young. That was good. But this is a description of some of what it was like, and I remember it well. In the decades leading up to the first Earth Day, Americans were consuming vast amounts of leaded gas through massive and inefficient automobiles. I mean, my daughter worries about a little lead paint. She should think about the dirt around her house. Anyway. Industry belched out smoke and sludge with little fear of the consequences from either the law or bad press. Air pollution was commonly accepted as the smell of prosperity. Until this point, mainstream America remained largely oblivious to environmental concerns and how a polluted environment threatens human health. You know, like the Love Canal caught on fire. However, the stage was set for change with the publication of Rachel Carson's New York Times bestseller, Silent Spring, in 1962. The book represented a watershed moment, selling more than 500,000 copies in 24 countries as it raised public awareness and concern for living organisms, the environment, and the inextricable links between pollution and public health. Senator Gaylord Nelson, a junior senator from Wisconsin, had long been concerned about the deteriorating environment in the United States. Then in January 1969, he and many others witnessed the ravages of a massive oil spill in Santa Barbara, California. So that beautiful coastline was saturated. Inspired by the student anti-war movement, Senator Nelson wanted to infuse the energy of student anti-war protests with an emerging public consciousness about air and water pollution. Senator Nelson announced the idea for a teach-in on college campuses to the national media and persuaded Pete McCloskey, a conservation-minded Republican congressman, to serve as its co-chair. Senator Gaylord recruited Dennis Hayes, a young activist, to organize the campus teach-ins, and to scale the idea to a broader public, they chose April 22nd, a weekday falling between spring break and final exams, to maximize the greatest student participation. Recognizing its potential to inspire all Americans, Hayes built a national staff of 85 to promote events across the land, and the effort soon broadened to include a wide range of organizations, faith groups, and others. They changed the name to Earth Day, which immediately sparked national media attention and caught on across the country. Earth Day inspired 20 million Americans at the time, that was 10% of the total population of the United States, to take to the streets, parks, auditoriums to demonstrate against the impacts of 150 years of industrial development, which had left a growing legacy of serious human health impacts. Groups that had been fighting individually against oil spills, polluting factories and power plants, raw sewage, toxic dumps, pesticides, freeways, the loss of wilderness, and the extension of wildlife united on Earth Day around these shared common values. Earth Day, 1970, achieved a rare political alignment. Now, I graduated from high school that year, and we sang about it at our high school graduation. He enlisted support from Republicans and Democrats, rich and poor, urban dwellers and farmers, businesses and labor leaders. By the end of 1970, the first Earth Day led to the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the passage of other first-of-their-kind environmental laws, including the National Environmental Education Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Now that one, I worked in medicine, and when OSHA was in the building, a word spread like wildfire. OSHA's in the building! Because they had a lot of leverage. And the Clean Air Act. 2 years later, Congress passed the Clean Water Act.
Our second reading today is by Stephanie Grollman. It's from the Cool Down newsletter. Stephanie?
So, you can see, it's, as Sara said, it's from the Cool Down newsletter, and the title is Government Proposes Ban of 14 Everyday Items That Could Affect How Residents Eat, Shop. It was written by Noah Jampol, and it's dated Monday, April 6th, 2026. The Australian Capital Territory government is considering banning 14 single-use plastic items due to their negative environmental impact and the availability of viable alternatives. The Australian Capital Territory government is branching out in its battle against single-use plastics with a new discussion paper that lays out some new targets. As Region Canberra reported, the government is taking a crack at potentially banning 14 single-use plastic items in the third phase of a broader initiative that started in 2011 with plastic shopping bags. Next on the list is produce bags and stickers, flower bags, coffee and ice drink cup tops, bowls with lids, sauce containers including soy sauce fish, bread bag tags, pizza holders, plastic confetti, and packaged goods with single-use plastic embedded. These items were picked because of viable alternatives and their problematic nature, according to Climate Change, Environment, Energy and Water Minister Suzanne Orr. Quote, "These items have been identified due to their negative environmental impact, including contamination of recycling streams, non-recyclability in curbside bins, contribution to litter, and harm to wildlife." End of quote. Or explained per Region Canberra. The outlet noted that all but one of these items are banned or are banned elsewhere in Australia. The exception is flower bags, where ACT could become the first area in Australia to implement a ban. Flower bags. Or noted they've been spotted quite a bit in local waste and there are better alternatives to plastic. Canberra's efforts follow a global effort to reduce single-use plastics that are littering the environment. These plastics can break down into worrisome microplastics that affect marine life and the local ecosystem, eventually ending up in food and water sources. Taking on the plastic pollution crisis will include not just addressing what's already out there, but dramatically slowing the rate at which consumers use plastics. Canberra is also looking to reduce single-use products, noting that the goal is to foster a more circular economy. The discussion paper highlighted an initiative at Light Up Lynham that promoted reusable foodware, cutlery, dishes, and drinkware. The event generated only 2 household bins of trash, with around 90% of items returned to the sustainability organization in charge. Public feedback on the proposal is open until May 1st. If implemented, businesses will have a 12-week transitional period to comply with the new parameters. Or emphasized, that's the name of the minister, or emphasized that the new rules are designed to minimize environmental harm.
So I chose this picture of the Earth because it does not center on the United States, which like most of the pictures of the Earth we see. So remember, the world is bigger than us. We forget about that sometimes in our country, I think. The first Earth Day led to the creation, as we heard before, of the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the passage of the National Environmental Education Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, the Clean Air Act, and the Clean Water Act just a little bit later. We got off to a good start, but where are we today? Let's see. Did you know that less than 30% of number 1 and 2 plastics are recycled? And even if you're putting the other numbers in your mixed stream recycling, 3 through 7, if they're allowed in your municipality, they usually end up in the landfill anyway. In fact, less than 10% of all the plastic ever produced has been recycled. 10% has been recycled of all of it that's ever produced. Big Oil knew that recycling was not a real solution for plastic way back into 1974, but with a $1 billion ad campaign, Big Oil took the responsibility for plastic waste from the producers and placed it on the consumers. A recent NPR report stated, after years of embracing plastic recycling, many environmental groups say they hope the public will finally see plastic for what they say it is, trash, and that people will ask themselves if there's something else they could use instead, unquote. In Corpus Christi, where the city is running out of water, there are plans to pump the water and lower the water table so much that homes that now operate with wells will soon not have any water. It's possible to suck all the water out of aquifers and use it for mining, fracking, manufacturing, and corporate farming, and leave the water polluted and despoiled. The new EPA chief wants to weaken air and water pollution rules in favor of manufacturing and legacy energy production. The U.S. was starting to get a handle on renewable energy with solar panels and on roofs and wind turbines and solar farms. They were becoming more common, but now the watchwords of the current administration are beautiful coal and drill, baby, drill. The U.S. government has abandoned renewable energy research and jobs and ceded new innovation to China. The administration wants to sell off public lands for mining and drilling. The Senate voted this week to allow copper and nickel mining by a Chilean company near the Boundary Waters Canoe Area wilderness in Minnesota, with almost surely polluting it. This administration has fired the scientists that study weather and climate change because they don't want evidence of global climate change recorded. I know there are some really wealthy people, you know their names, that really are interested in finding a new planet to move to, leaving the rest of us to subsist on what is still available on Earth 1. This plan is the ultimate gated community. Instead of keeping the common folk out with high walls and guarded gates, they will keep us out of Earth 2 or 3 or 4 with the distance of space. To them, the Earth is disposable. But before you get too upset, there's some good news for Mother Earth. In July of 2022, some forest managers in England decided to experiment with restoring European bison to Kent to prevent overgrowth of understory plants and small trees. Even though European bison were not native to this forest, that would be the forest or steppe bison, extinct for at least 6,000 years. The European bison was still up to the task of making the forest healthier, and they've now moved that project to other forests in Britain. In Scotland, environmental scientists decided to return beaver to rivers to see if they could control flooding. Scottish beaver had been exterminated 400 years ago. Eurasian beavers were introduced, and the scientists were astounded at how fast the beaver modified the area, creating new wetlands and habitat for other species. Flooding was also reduced. This reintroduction of ketone species is called rewilding, and is being done all over the earth. In the there's some here too. In the tall grass prairie reserves in Kansas and Oklahoma, they have bison herds that maintain the prairie as nature intended. The herd in Caprop Canyon in Texas keeps the park healthy and are descendants of the southern bison that once roamed freely in Texas. The person that saved that bison herd, the southern bison, from going extinct was Goodnight, who was the cattle drover. Even without government subsidies, green energy is getting less expensive. It's very likely that the U.S. will continue to grow solar and wind energy because it will be cheaper and cleaner than oil and coal. Right now, Texas, a very politically conservative place, has almost 80% more wind, solar farms, and battery capacity than the next largest state. Renewable energy will become the energy of choice for the United States, even if we are no longer part of the Paris Climate Accord. It's just because, unfortunately, people don't like the markets. Apparently the markets are going to help us out with this. Native plants are becoming more common for landscaping because they need less water and care than non-natives. They also withstand winter cold and summer heat. No more having to cover your plants when it dips below freezing. Native plants also provide food and shelter for bees, butterflies, birds, and other wildlife. Thrifting has become more popular with younger folks, keeping clothes, housewares, and furniture out of the landfill and reducing dependence on consumerism. So what simple steps can we take to keep the earth from being treated as disposable? Here are a few I discovered with just a little research. And interestingly enough, this is the same stuff a lot of us were told to do as kids. Our parents did it, our grandparents did it, and our great-grandparents did it. So you may recognize some of these. First, vote for people with good environmental policy and a track record of caring about the health and welfare of people. And once they are elected, hold them accountable. Now, this is one you're going to recognize. Conserve resources. Us boomers and the Gen Xers know how to do this. We did it as kids. Keep an eye on the thermostat. If you're cold, put on more clothes. If you are hot, change into something cooler. Take shorter showers and wash full loads of laundry. Work for environmental justice in your neighborhood. Go on record against undesirable manufacturing or activities, especially in areas that are predominantly lower income. Go to the city council meetings and show up at protest events against polluters. It is no accident that shingle factories and high polluting businesses are put in low income areas. Paper, cardboard, metal, and glass are recyclable. Follow your local municipality's rules for these. Don't wish cycle. If you don't know if it is acceptable, don't contaminate the whole load of recycling by something isn't recycling. Usually you can call your local recyclers and find out if your municipality accepts something. Recycle the plastics that you can in your area, but concentrate on reducing or reusing all plastics, especially single-use plastics. Grow native plants. Beautify your property, save water, labor, and provide habitat for wildlife. Buy fewer clothes. The UN says that a garbage truckload of clothes is dumped or burned every second of every day of every year. That's a lot of clothes going to the landfill or going up in smoke and polluting the atmosphere. When you need something, see if you can find it at a thrift store or consignment shop. If you must buy new, try to find something made of natural fibers that is well made and is in a classic style so it's something you can wear for years. Learn to mend. I don't know about you, but my mother taught me to darn socks when I was about this tall, a little bit shorter than I am now. How's that? So, learn to mend. There are some great fancy mending and patching videos on YouTube, and the finished result is often more attractive than the original garment. Try to refurbish rather than to replace. See if paint, refinishing, or recovering can keep that chair, table, or sofa out of the landfill and save money too. If you are downsizing, donate as much as you can, either directly to someone who needs it or to a charity. I bet you have some ideas too. We all used to live like this, right? Years ago. The earth is not disposable. The earth is the precious home of humanity and millions of other species, some still unknown to us. May we live lightly on Mother Earth, treating her with love and respect. May we treat each other as beloved siblings. In the words of the old hymn, then the earth shall be fair and all her people one. May it be so. Our worship time is ending, and as is our custom, we will extinguish our chalice. Please say the words together with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thanks so much for coming to the service today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll think of at least one thing that you can, one idea from what I've mentioned or that you have of your own to help save the earth. As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves, to be at home, here on earth, under the stars, linked with each other. Go in peace, go in love, go in joy.